6:14 a.m. The alarm sounds like it always sounds. You silence it before the second buzz because the second buzz means you're already behind. You make coffee in a mug with a chip on the handle you've meant to replace for 2 years. You don't replace it. Replacing it costs $9, and $9 doesn't feel like a decision you're allowed to make lightly anymore. The commute is 34 minutes if the light on 5th holds green. It never holds green. You sit in traffic behind a truck with a bumper sticker about living your best life, and you think about nothing in particular, because thinking about something in particular at 7:40 a.m. costs more than you have to spend. The job pays $58,000 a year. After taxes, insurance, and the 401k match you're too scared not to take, it's $3,180 a month landing in an account that's usually near zero by the 22nd. You have $340 in savings. You've had roughly $340 in savings for 11 months, the number moving up and down inside a $200 band like a tide that never reaches the shore. Your manager's name is Holt. He is not unkind. He asks how your weekend was on Monday mornings and doesn't listen to the answer. You have done this 5 days a week for 6 years. The math of it, if you ever sat down and did it, is 1,560 mornings of the same alarm, the same 34 minutes, the same chipped mug. You don't sit down and do the math. Doing the math on a life you can't currently change feels like a cruelty you're not ready for. The first rule: the trap isn't the job. The trap is the identical morning, repeated until it stops registering as a choice. Level 2. The number. It's a Tuesday in February, 9:52 p.m. You open a spreadsheet. Empty. Cursor blinking in the first cell. You type your monthly expenses, one line at a time, and the total surprises you the way it always surprises people who've never written it down. $2,740 a month to exist. You sit with that number longer than you sit with most things. Then you do something you've never done. You calculate what $2,740 a month would cost you to never need a paycheck for again. The number that comes back is $822,000 invested, drawing down at 4% a year, forever. You laugh out loud, alone in your apartment. The laugh isn't happy. It's the laugh of someone looking at a mountain from the parking lot. You close the spreadsheet. You open it again 4 minutes later. You don't delete it this time. You rename the tab FI number, and you don't tell anyone. Not your girlfriend, not your brother, not the one coworker you'd call a friend. You start reading. Not motivational content. Numbers. Withdrawal rates, expense ratios, the difference between a Roth and a traditional account, explained by people who sound tired of explaining it. You open a brokerage account that night. You fund it with $50. It feels like nothing. You do it anyway. The second rule: the plan doesn't begin with money. $10,000. It takes 14 months. You automate $410 a month into the account the day your paycheck lands, before you can see it, before you can miss it. You cancel the streaming bundle you weren't watching. You cook Sunday for the week, not out of any romantic notion of self-discipline, just math. $9 a meal at the place on the corner versus $2.10 a meal at home. You still buy the coffee sometimes. You're not a monk about it. You just stop pretending every purchase is neutral. At month 11, the market drops 11% in 3 weeks. You watch $6,200 become $5,500 on a Tuesday afternoon, and your stomach does something unpleasant. You don't sell. You don't know yet that not selling is the entire game. You just don't have a reason to, so you leave it. It recovers by month 13. At month 14, you check the account before bed, and it says $10,140. You don't tell anyone this either. You've noticed you don't tell anyone anything about money anymore, and you've started to understand why. The number doesn't mean anything to the people around you. It only means something to the version of you that's still 14 months from now, still awake, still checking. The third rule: the first $10,000 is the only proof you need that the math is real. Nobody else will find it impressive. 2 years in, you got a raise, $4,300 a year, and instead of feeling it in your life, you feel it in the account. The automated transfer goes from $410 to $650 a month without a conversation with yourself about it. This is the rule you were most afraid you'd break. No lifestyle creep on the way up. Your friends start noticing you say no to things. A wedding 3 states away, $1,100 all in with flights and the hotel block. You don't go. You send a gift instead and eat the awkward silence in the group chat for 2 days. A coworker asks what you're saving for. A house, a wedding, something with a shape she can picture. You say, just saving, and watch her face do the thing faces do when the answer doesn't fit the question. You've stopped correcting people who assume you're broke because you drive a 9-year-old Corolla with 118,000 miles on it. Correcting them would mean explaining the account, and explaining the account invites opinions you don't want. Level 5, $150,000, 4 years and 2 months. This is where it gets hard in a way nobody warns you about, because it isn't hard the way month 1 was hard. It's hard the way a plateau is hard. The number moves, and you stop feeling it move. In March, the market falls 19% over 5 weeks. Your $150,000 becomes $124,000 in real time on a screen you check 4 times a day now, which you promised yourself you wouldn't do. Your girlfriend, now living with you, asks if you're okay. You say you're fine. You are not entirely fine. You run the numbers at midnight, the same ritual as the spreadsheet 2 years earlier, except now the numbers have real weight behind them. 4 years of Tuesdays and Sundays and $9 coffees you didn't buy. Your finger hovers over nothing because there's no sell button you're tempted to press, not really. But the temptation isn't the button. It's the thought that maybe this was all for a mountain that keeps growing every time you get close to it. You don't act on the thought. You keep the automated transfer running. By June, the account is back to $161,000. It didn't need you to do anything. It needed you to not do anything, which turns out to be the harder skill. The 5th rule. The plateau isn't a sign the plan failed. It's the plan, working exactly the way plans that work quietly always look from the inside. Level 6, $400,000, 6 years in. Something shifts that has nothing to do with the balance and everything to do with a Tuesday afternoon spreadsheet you open on a whim. You model it out. Your current invested total, your monthly contribution, a conservative 7% average return, and the date that comes back is 41 months from now, 3 years and 5 months. You read the number twice. You close the laptop and sit very still in your kitchen, which is the same kitchen in the same apartment that you sat in 6 years ago running the first version of this math and laughing at the mountain. The mountain has a summit visible on it now. You don't tell your manager. You don't tell Holt, who still asks about your weekends on Mondays and still doesn't listen to the answer. You do start noticing the job differently, not with more resentment, with less. It stops being the thing trapping you and starts being the thing funding the exit. You give it your best work anyway, oddly, because the countdown makes the hours feel finite instead of endless, and finite hours are easier to spend well. The quit. 8 years and 1 month. You are 30 years old. The account reads $612,000, comfortably past your original $822,000 target once you reran the number with a paid-off car and a smaller apartment than the one you'd once imagined you'd need. You write the resignation letter on a Sunday night at your kitchen table, the same table, the chipped mug from level 1 long since replaced with one that doesn't matter to you either way. 9 words. You read it 4 times. You don't send it that night. You sit with it for 11 days because the decision, now that it's arrived, feels heavier than the years of preparation made it seem like it would. On day 12, a Tuesday, you walk into Holt's office at 9:04 a.m. and hand him the letter. He reads it standing up. He asks if you're going somewhere else. You say no. Everything's okay. You say everything's okay. He doesn't ask the follow-up question that would actually explain anything, and you don't offer it. Word moves through the office by lunch. A coworker stops by your desk and asks, half joking, if you won the lottery. You say something vague about savings. She laughs like you made a joke. You didn't. The 7th rule. Nobody around you will understand the decision because they never saw the 14 months or the plateau or the 41-month spreadsheet. They only see the letter. The morning after. It's a Tuesday, 7:40 a.m., 4 months later. There's no alarm. You wake up because the light changed, not because a sound told you to. You make coffee slowly in a kitchen that is quiet in a way that 6 years of 6:14 a.m. mornings never let it be quiet. You sit down at the table and open the laptop, not out of anxiety this time, out of habit that hasn't fully worn off yet.